Hello, this is Mr. Yoon. So today we are going to be learning about why anything to the power of 0 is 1. So obviously the key phrase for today is that anything to the power of 0 is 1. Really, if you are going to remember anything from this lesson, is the fact that literally any number to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So what do I mean by anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1? So I'm going to show you what I mean. So anything, as in literally any number or letters, so 2 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. 22 to the power of 0 is 1. Even if I have something crazy like 2,981,721, if I have to the power of 0, that is going to equal 1. And this fact doesn't change even if there is the most craziest mathematical expression that you can imagine. So for example, if I have 3x squared y plus 3xy cubed minus 72 over 3 to the power of 0, if you see this, yes, it looks scary and everything, but we also see that it's to the power of 0. What does that mean? We can literally ignore everything that's inside and make it equal to 1. So now we have learned that anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. But the most important thing in math is knowing why anything to the power of 0 would be equal to 1. So there are I'm going to show you two different ways. First one is by analyzing the pattern. So over here we have 2 to the power of 1. And what is 2 to the power of 1? 2 to the power of 1 means we are going to be multiplying 2 by itself just once. So it's simply equal to 2. Over here, that's 2 to the power of 2, which means we are going to be multiplying 2 by itself twice, which is equal to 4. And 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times bigger than 2 to the power of 2, which is going to be equal to 8. And 2 to the power of 4 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is equal to 16. So over here, you can see that when the exponent gets bigger by 1, that we have to multiply the numbers on the top by 2. So what if we went the other way around? So instead of doing plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, what if we started at 2 to the power of 4 and went down to 2 to the power of 1? So that would mean instead of plus 1, now we are going to be doing minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So we are doing the opposite of what happened before. So then eventually, then what's going to happen up top here? So before, when we were going to this direction, we were doing multiply by 2. Now that we're going to the other way, which is the opposite direction, we got to do opposite of times 2, which would change times 2 to divide by 2. Now, let's continue this pattern once more. So underneath here, 4 became 3, 3 became 2, 2 became 1. So naturally, the next number that we will probably want to see is 2 to the power of 0. So, and what would 2 to the power of 0 be? So over here, we divided each number by 2 every time when the exponent decreased by 1. So over here again, the exponent decreased by 1. So what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to divide 2 by another 2, which would then equal 2 divided by 2, which is simply equal to 1. So we just found out that 2 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. And the fact is this works for all bases that are not 2 as well. So because anything to the power of 1 is going to be itself, and every time exponents, when we go down by 1 to get to the power of 0, we're going to be dividing by the number itself. Therefore, and we know that any number divided by itself is equal to 1. Therefore, anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So in case the first method didn't make a whole lot of sense for you, here's a second way to prove that anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So over here, I have x to the power of a divided by x to the power of a. And yes, these are variables and they look complicated, but I want you to focus on the idea that we are actually just dividing a number by itself. And we have learned that anything divided by itself is always equal to 1. Just like how 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, 7 divided by 7 is 1, a million divided by a million is 1. Just like that, x to the power of a divided by x to the power of a is equal to 1. And now, let's revisit our previous lessons about exponent laws. So over here, I have x to the power of a divided by x to the power of a, which, according to the quotient rule of exponents, we know that we have to, when we're dividing, we have to subtract the exponents. So then we get x to the power of a minus a. And here, this is an a minus a. And what is a minus a? And again, yes, these are letters and it may look complicated, but the idea here is that we are subtracting a number by the same number, which is always equal to 0. Just like how 1 minus 1 is 0, 2 minus 2 is 0, 70 million minus 70 million is 0, a minus a is just 0. So x to the power of a divided by x to the power of a was equal to 1. And here, we just found that x to the power of a divided by x to the power of a is equal to x to the power of 0. What does that mean? It means that x to the power of 0 is the same as 1. And in fact, any number to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So that's everything for today. Thanks for watching, and feel free to ask questions if you have any.